The Blood of Dawnwalker is an upcoming RPG that many fans, especially passionate Witcher 3 fans like myself, hope will fill the massive void left behind after one of the greatest DLCs ever released, Blood and Wine. This is exactly why I'm so excited about the game and why I'm hyping it so much. It seems that the developers at Rebel Wolves, many of whom worked on The Witcher 3, took some of the best aspects of that game, particularly its Slavic mythology and the vampire-focused storyline of Blood and Wine, and decided to create their own Witcher-like masterpiece. From everything they've shown so far, it appears that the vampire mythology in this game will be unlike anything we've seen before. Much like The Witcher 3, they seem to have taken their own path in creating vampires and the mythology surrounding them. To me, this makes perfect sense because I doubt anyone wants to see another basic, stereotypical vampire story like the ones that flooded the entertainment industry for decades. This is what piqued my interest and why I decided to make this video, to explore everything we know about the vampires and vampire mythology in one of the most anticipated dark fantasy RPGs in years. The first major thing about this game is that it will heavily revolve around Slavic mythology, something we saw a lot of in The Witcher 3. However, I think this game will go a step further, and we'll see much more Southeastern and Eastern European lore and folklore. This immediately excites me because we've already seen the incredible potential of this mythology in The Witcher 3, and it will be a refreshing change after years of Norse mythology dominating both gaming and the entertainment industry as a whole. This is also particularly special to me because I'm from a Slavic country myself, so I'm very curious to see how everything will be portrayed. Many key developers of the Blood of Dawnwalker also worked on Blood and Wine, arguably one of the greatest DLCs ever made. They probably saw the potential of this type of game even back then, and I'm sure the Blood of Dawnwalker will share some similarities with and pay tribute to Blood and Wine in some way. From everything we've seen so far, it seems this game will take vampires and vampire mythology much further, which makes sense considering that the main character, plot, and story all revolve around them. Another thing I noticed is that the timing for this game couldn't be better. I'm not sure whether this was coordinated with CD Projekt Red, but with Geralt no longer being the protagonist of the new Witcher trilogy, the gaming industry is in desperate need of another Geralt-like character. I think Cohen could definitely take that role. Another parallel I noticed with The Witcher 3 is that Cohen's sister Lunka appears set to play a massive role in the story, much like Ciri did in The Witcher 3. The game's plot will likely revolve around saving her, while Cohen, similarly to Geralt, will possess superhuman abilities and be forced to make difficult moral choices every step of the way. Another hint that Lunka may have a role similar to Ciri's is the fact that she is saved from a terrible disease by the most powerful vampire we currently know of. I believe she may possess special powers and become extremely important to the vampires, much like Ciri's elder blood made her important to the Wild Hunt. Since Blood and Wine featured incredible vampire characters such as Regis, Detloff, Oriana, and especially the Unseen Elder, I always wondered how Ciri would fit into a story involving a secretive and powerful vampire society. We may get an answer in the new Witcher trilogy, but until then, the closest thing we'll probably get is the Blood of Dawnwalker. Now, onto the most important vampires. Similar to the vampire clan structures in Blood and Wine, the main vampires in the Blood of Dawnwalker are known as the Valkyrie. Their leader and most powerful member is Brensis, a character who clearly draws at least some inspiration from the Unseen Elder. It's obvious that he possesses immense power, but where the two differ is in their ambitions. Brensis, born in ancient Rome over 1,000 years ago, was once a Roman senator with an enormous appetite for power. This desire only grew stronger after he became a vampire and lost his human status. While the full extent of his powers remains unknown, it appears that he maintains control over the Vale Sangora Valley through macabre blood rituals. He imposes a blood tax on human subjects. As an ancient vampire, he can regenerate from injuries, and lore discussions suggest that he may have achieved such mastery that traditional vampire weaknesses, such as sunlight or holy iconography, affect him far less than expected. He also uses dark rituals to empower his personal enforcers, granting them tireless physical abilities and turning them into relentless warriors who serve as a brutal extension of his will. Combining the intelligence and political skill of a Roman senator with vampiric dominance, Brensis uses charm, deception, and psychological manipulation to position himself as a godlike savior to desperate humans. He seems to be the most powerful vampire among the Valkyrie, but I'm convinced there are even more powerful beings out there. After all, someone must have turned him centuries ago. I'm still unsure how vampiric transformations and power levels will work in this world, but one thing is certain. This will not be the stereotypical vampire story we've been seeing in entertainment for decades. While Brentsis looks both incredible and frightening, Xanthi completely steals the show for me. This is how her character is described in her introduction. Xanthi is old, older than seems possible. She was a priestess once, on a remote Greek island, the name of which she has since forgotten. Her body bears witness to the ravages of time, as does her mind, hearing voices from beyond the pale, muttering under her breath. At first glance, she might seem insane. The truth couldn't be more different. She understands the true nature of the world better than anyone, and deep down, she's terrified. We know that each vampire possesses unique abilities, and Xanthi's powers seem to revolve around blood manipulation. She can conjure blood whips to trap, blind, or crush her opponents. She also utilizes blood-filled cauldrons on the battlefield to restore her vitality, though players can apparently disrupt them. Xanthi is also responsible for creating the Blood Guards, fanatically loyal elite soldiers who gain their superhuman strength and resistance to pain by drinking directly from her veins. Her physical body has deteriorated due to the passage of time, resulting in extra fangs growing through her skull and giving her a truly monstrous appearance. She also supports the theory that there is far more happening behind the scenes in the vampire world than we currently realize. I'm convinced the game will feature extensive lore regarding vampire origins, blood magic, and the deeper workings of the world. The third of Brentsis' most powerful lieutenants is Bakir. Before becoming a vampire, Bakir spent decades riding across the steppes of Central Asia, pillaging, burning, and trampling everything in his path. Unlike older and more calculating vampires such as Brentsis, Bakir simply wants to watch the world burn. He is obsessed with fame, power, and ensuring that people tremble whenever they hear his name. Bakir features a strong Central Asian and Mongolian-inspired aesthetic and combat style. Perhaps the most interesting thing about this character is that former UFC light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz provided motion capture and combat expertise for him. Blachowicz' involvement brings an authentic, heavy-hitting ferocity to Bakir's combat style, while still allowing him to remain fast and agile, something we already got a glimpse of in one of the game's trailers. At first glance, Ambrose appears to be the least interesting of Brentsis' lieutenants, but I highly doubt that will actually be the case. I'm sure there's a great deal of lore surrounding him that we simply don't know yet. This is how his character introduction describes him. It's only recently that Ambrose has been turned, and so he's got something to prove. Ambitious and thrilled with his newly acquired powers, there's nothing he'll shy away from, no red line he won't cross. His gleaming armor and perfectly coiffed hair make Ambrose look like a nobleman, but his origins couldn't be humbler. His life as a human was hard, full of pain and humiliations. Now, he's more than ready to settle the score with the world and all who spurned him. I'm not sure this game will reach the same level of success as The Witcher. It may not even be fair to expect that much from Rebel Wolves' first game, considering that The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2 came nowhere near the level of success achieved by The Witcher 3. The Blood of Dawnwalker will also be significantly smaller in both map size and overall playtime than The Witcher 3. Rebel Wolves has intentionally designed it as a more compact and focused experience, offering around 30 to 40 hours of gameplay, much closer in scale to The Witcher 2 or the Blood and Wine expansion. This could actually be a good and refreshing approach, especially considering how the gaming industry has under-delivered with many recent open-world games that were massive in size but felt empty and lacking in meaningful content. That said, I truly hope The Blood of Dawnwalker becomes a turning point and that each sequel surpasses the one before it, because the gaming industry is in desperate need of a new Witcher-like masterpiece. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.